Can you please tell us why you chose this word?
Yeah. Something I'm newly discovering right now is that I have most of my motivations for doing anything has been to seek like acceptance and validation from other people, and I don't even know what it feels like to do things just because I draw my own like pleasure from them. I feel my own well from them.
Mm-hmm.
And so it has a lot to do with shame, like shame from pleasure. Even like writing it down and talking about it is like I feel stuff coming up like I shouldn't want to seek my own pleasure, like, and so for a lot of things, because like you should be thinking of others, because a woman seeking her own pleasure is like a bad thing, and so like yeah, of all the things that you should be doing in your life, and yeah, so this is it's my current focus right now. I like, for instance, I have a friend who like assigned me to do 12 self-love acts recently.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't and not to say that I don't do things that I enjoy. I do things that I enjoy, and it but in some way the motivation for it has been other stuff, or it's been like a thing to do, the thing I have to get to.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and so when I was trying to think of some self-love acts, I realized I'd filled up my own like schedule so much that I didn't even know what it felt like to do something just because it felt good,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to something that I had like a responsibility to, or something that I had signed up for, I need to fulfill, or yeah, it's being in the moment. I think is the hardest part about it, is that I'm always so far either in the past, thinking about the past, or planning for the future, and the connection between me being able to be in the moment and like listen for what feels good is what I'm currently working on.
It's awesome. What are some of the things that you feel the shame feeling pleasure from?
Things that I feel a shame feeling pleasure from? Well, if I could just jump right into it, like sexuality and orgasming has always been very difficult, like for me. So, and really realizing right now that sexuality, I mean, it's not that I haven't had sex, and I do, but having my own voice in it,
Mm-hmm.
and realizing about like all the different ways that I can be a player in that versus just someone who's there to please someone else.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, I could never ask for things, like I was just so silent, and
Mm-hmm.
so because yeah, I mean, not even without putting words into it, but now that I can look back at it, it's this like like the idea that I should even could even ask for or demand my own pleasure in a space, like, is just like full of shame. It's like I can't have these conversations with my parents or anything like that, and so it was always passed down for me, and I learned as I went.
Mm-hmm.
And as I went, my only interactions were like with men who are just like there to take. I mean, not everybody, but in my experience it was.
Yeah.
And so, and then hearing from other women just kind of like their experiences, and then just kind of making my own way now, because I don't think everything's just kind of like learn as you go, you know, kind of thing. And I don't mind that at all.
How old are you?
31.
Oh, me too.
You look so young.
Have you noticed, like, that's something that I've like dealt with too with sex, but I've come to realize that it was more about like my comfort with the person, and not necessarily that I didn't have a voice.
Oh, totally.
And I think like with age, it also you get more comfortable with yourself, and I'm just wondering if you think like that had any part in playing. And I think like also like once you enter your 30s, you like really look back on things, and it's this weird kind of freedom of like finally being like, okay, I'm not afraid to like say no to plans. I'm not afraid to like speak up about things, because I think that all is under the umbrella of like finding your own pleasure, because it's like, for me the hardest thing was saying no to stuff, because I felt very like fear of missing out, even though I knew I wasn't gonna have that much fun. And it's like, now that I'm comfortable with it, it's amazing. But I'm just wondering, like, do you think some of it's with age, and then what are other things that like came together that just kind of brought ease in like voicing your opinion, or you're having a voice in anything?
age and experience has to be a huge factor for sure, because then I can see themes, you know, like rising in my relationships. Comfort with the person, I mean, I've been like deeply in love and stuff and like comfortable, but I don't know, like, you know, how comfortable can you, you know, really be with someone who wasn't a soulmate maybe necessarily, kind of thing too. Like, I was comfortable with people, but I guess in a sense not, because I mean, have not actually really been comfortable with myself until recently. Like, you compliment my hair, that's not something I've actually been proud of or happy with, like, for most of my life. I've always been straightening it, you know, in order to feel beautiful. And that's why I came like this today. You guys say like, who's you? And I'm like, this is me now. No makeup and no like hair just like this, which I love now.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, everything was always like this. Like, I always felt like I had to ask for permission for space, and like that's just the world that I used to live in, and I'm pushing myself out of that comfort zone right now. But other things that I think were a factor is finding other women who have been going through and feel the same things, and like validating each other's experiences and saying like, okay, so like, and you know, when someone else has a victory in this kind of theme or in anything, to like learn from that and share in that and go like, oh my God, I can completely, that resonates with me, you know. And so I've been literally just finding spaces that I can have that kind of connection with other women so I can learn and share too.
Yeah,
That's pretty amazing.
yeah. I think that's like kind of the basis of what we're trying to do with our site and with our. Did you get that? No. Yeah. But like that definitely, yeah. That's like, yeah. Take the words out of our mouth. I think that's like the most important thing for women. Do you find anything with like the traditions in your family? I'm not sure what your background is or anything, but does that like, was there kind of just like a culture of being like the submissive, like dutiful woman?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually have very strong women in my family, and yet it is all about